Well, we're here in Clinton, Ontario at Clinton Raceway. Race 7 is going. I'm in race 9, 10, and 11. If you look over to the corner here, you can see all the cars parked in the parking lot. It is jammed here today at Clinton. Jammed here in Clinton today. We're going to have a guest here in a moment. The man who invented off and pacing, Ryan Clements, is going to jump in here.
It's a good view.
Come on in, I'm doing a video. So Ryan Clements is here. You guys don't know Ryan Clements.
Oh, I gotta wear my glasses
that's Ryan
too?
Clements, yeah.
Everybody
yeah, you know
knows
him.
Ryan Clements,
yeah. Ollie knows him.
Yeah.
So this is Ryan. He invented off and pacing. I've had 3 starts in the new driver game. I have a second, a third, and a fifth. Yeah. I haven't won yet.
You get them all parked the mile or what?
No. It's perfect drives for all 3 of them.
So Anthony's sitting here turned back towards the track. That's,
so they can see them.
Okay.
So they can see them. Just so they can see the track. They might have saw the horses go by.
All right, I'll stop interrupting you.
Oh, that's fine.
Finish your.
So I know I got to do. I'm just running down my lists of trainers here. So this is Harry Polton's barn. Harry Polton has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 horses. A couple of these are turned out now, though. So we'll start with Better Call Mike. Better Call Mike is a 2-year-old colt. Obviously, he was turned out for a bit to mature. I haven't seen Mike go. I saw him in passing a couple of times, but Harry is really, really enamored with the way this colt came back after his turnout. Really grew up and looks like $1 million now. So really impressed with what he's seen. There's a race going in the background there now. Must be one of the driver's things again.
Yep.
Jody's on the front. Yeah, so Better Call Mike. If you guys look close when they go by, they'll probably be able to see them. Can they?
Yeah, Jody on the 2-horse.
There they are there, yeah. So Better Call Mike looks great so far. He's been in 228. He's probably around 4 or 5 weeks away from racing. He's going to race throughout the fall and winter. As I said in one of the earlier videos, most of these horses that we turned out, their trajectory will be to come back late fall, race throughout the winter. If they look like stake horses, we shut them down, try and rest them a little bit leading up to the stakes. If not, it'll be racing them in the conditions until we sell them and they get claimed, or we just keep racing them in conditions, one or the other. So Better Call Mike, probably about 4 or 5 weeks away, and looks good. Now, one of the biggest shocks so far has been Boldness. Boldness come back and looked fantastic so far. And you'll remember we were joking, called him Click Clack there. He used to interfere and forge all the time. He's not doing that anymore. So Harry was quick to bring that up. He said, you know, I've jogged this horse for 3 weeks now. He hasn't forged once. Hasn't interfered once. So he hasn't interfered once. So very interested to see how he's going to train down, how he's going to be training down moving forward. Who's there? Jody and Doug. Jody looks gassed.
No, Doug's gassed too.
Oh, is he?
Oh, he's coming. He's going to get him.
No, he's already got him. He's got him. Dougie's going to win it.
It's going to be tight.
No.
Jody's there, I think.
No, Dougie beat him. Want to bet? I'll give you odds.
I think Jody beat him.
Chicken. You want to bet?
Yeah, we're betting dinner.
Dinner?
Yeah.
I got to go to Flamborough right after this.
Yeah, not tonight, but we'll go to the keg.
Okay, no problem. We'll bet
keg
dinner.
dinner.
Supper, you're on.
You got McNair.
You're on.
Right.
I got McNair.
Yeah.
So we just got a little wager going on. I say Doug McNair won that race, and he says it's Jody Jameson. So Boldness, can't wait to see how Boldness is going to start training, because by all accounts, much improved. Exactly what we were looking for, really. When we turn these horses out, we want to see them mature, have their joints cool down, then when they come back, look like the horses we wanted them to be from the start. So Boldness, very interested to see how he's going to start training here in the next week. Captain Miraculous, you'll remember he popped that curb left hind, is why we raced him once and then gave him some time off. We schooled him back. I wasn't really enamored with what I saw in the schooler. We're going to probably race this guy throughout the fall in the condition and condition claiming ranks. He's not impressing me. He wasn't Captain Impressive, that's for sure, the last time I schooled him. Now that curb was still bothering him, so we'll see how he behaves. Did I win?
I think so. I see Jody over here.
Keg dinner. So we'll see how Captain Miraculous comes back. Just a tad, we turned him out. I don't know why you're worried. I own all the shares of him right now. So just a tad, we bought him back out of. Hey, you want to buy half a trotter with me?
Half a trotter?
Yeah, just a tad. He was one of our best colts training down.
So you get like 300 owners? How am I going to get half?
No, so what happened was, just a tad, the majority owner of this guy bought all the shares back, took him to Florida, trained him down, and then decided he wasn't mature enough to race at 2, which it appears he was probably correct. I trained him back, trained him in 59 2 weeks ago, 2-year-old trotting colt.
Yeah.
And he is a little rough in spots. So I turned him back out for another month.
I'm a big fan of the trotters. So
And I believe, and we only paid $8,500 for him at on gate, so maybe 12 grand Canadian max right now. He's a good looking colt, and I think you can't pay me in off and pacing dollars. It'll have to be,
that's all I got,
Canadian currency. It'll have to be. So Just a Tad's out for about 60 days. He's a little different. I don't think there's anything wrong with this colt. I wasn't gonna qualify him just to say we could race him in the maidens. He wasn't super comfortable with the hobbles on and on the track. We did go in 59 with him, but I thought that maybe a rest was the best way. For those of you out there that think, oh, Anthony doesn't care, he just turns him out whenever he wants, I own Just a Tad. I try to treat everybody's money like it's my money, and I try to treat everybody's horses like they're my horses. So when I'm turning my own horse out that I own all of right now because I think he needs to mature, just goes to show you exactly how I feel about everybody's horses. I treat them all the same. So Just a Tad is going to be out for another 6 weeks probably. Majesty Boy, this is one of those horses that fits into that trajectory of turning him out to bring him back and race in the winter and see what we have. He fits in this also. I think when he comes back, he won't need the hobbles. The last time I drove him in Ohio, we almost didn't need them. So I think once we let his joints cool down, his stifles cool down, and let him grow up into the horse we hope he is, he won't need those hobbles any longer. And I believe with no hobbles, he'll be a much more effective horse. Maintenance Man, a little unimpressive in the NASA. I shouldn't say unimpressive. We only raced against the best horses in the world and whacked it out. He still paced a mile in like 54. I put him on the front and I made it tough on him, but you know, that's where I thought he was going to be the most effective, and he didn't end up making any money, but he got a race against Captain Ahab and those horses that are now pacing in 150 and 151 at Lexington. So Maintenance Man, nothing to scoff at. Still put away a little bit of money. We're going to finish him up with probably a grassroots race and maybe an overnight at Mohawk and then call it quits for the year. I would like to see his bankroll get up around 35,000, 40,000, but we'll see what happens in the coming weeks. Leamas Son. Big news of Leamas Son. He starts back jogging next week. This was one of our best colts from 2. He won his first stake race, injured himself in the first stake race at 2. We gave him the whole summer off. Brought him back, injured himself in a totally different area at 3. Pretty significant injury. We gave him the whole summer off. Stood in the stall for 6, 8 weeks. Gave him the whole summer off. His leg looks good. And he's on his way back, starts jogging next week. Lincoln James. I talked about, what about Lincoln James? You see him last night?
Yeah, I'm busy driving Canadian Pacing Derby.
You're driving in the Canadian Pacing Derby? Yeah. Somehow I feel that if you're the designer and the owner of this game, that you may have an advantage. Am I wrong?
Well, I am better than most people.
Yeah, well, I thought that, yeah. So,
like if I
what's your name of your driver?
Ryan Clements.
Ryan Clements? I went with the Scab.
You should have gone.
So Lincoln James raced huge last night. Second, hard closing, 149-3, 26-1 on the end of it. Possibly the best race of his life. He's 7. I have nobody to thank for this except for Mark Weaver. Mark Weaver was the one that picked this horse out. He owned him and picked him out for our clients. That's right. You know Mark Weaver, don't you? Ollie, what do you think of Mark Weaver?
Yeah.
He's a nice guy? What's his dog's name? Parker. Ollie loves Mark Weaver because Mark Weaver has a pool and a jacuzzi and a big house, and we stayed there for a couple of days when we were there in the summer. And Mark's a really, really nice guy. Obviously, got a $1 billion, a really nice house. Obviously, he's rich. He's rich. Ollie says he's rich. So, but he's a very, very nice man, and he picked out Lincoln James. I called him when we were going to PEI. I said, I need a horse for the Gold Cup. He said, what are you looking for? I said, listen, you're a handicapper. You tell me. I need a horse to win the Gold Cup and Saucer. We obviously didn't get the horse to win the Gold Cup and Saucer, but we definitely got a very, very nice horse in Lincoln James, so thank you very much, Mark Weaver. Linnea now turned out for a couple of months. Geez, it's really hit and miss with this filly. She just couldn't keep her healthy, and we had a real problem with that all summer. People saw hints of her talent all year. I know I did. I know Louis Philippe Wall was really high on her the day he schooled her, and then she raced poorly her last start. So a couple of months, a little disappointing, but obviously the talent is there. We'll have her back this winter. Same with Screaming Hawk. There's a horse that had a good summer. A little bit on the right line his last start. Don't make silly noises. On the right line his last start, and I schooled him in 2-2 after that. He could have raced. We decided that maybe it was better for everybody. We just turned the horse out for a couple of months and let him grow up. Ollie, no silly noises, please. So, Sunshine's Finest, he'll be racing this Friday in the Simcoe or the Champlain. I don't know which one it is. But, do you know 2-year-old pacing colts this week?
I'm trying to figure out if you're streaming this, because I was going to share it for you, but...
No, I'm not streaming it. This is a video that goes out to 1,300 people.
I thought you do this live.
No, I can't do all these live. How am I going to do all these live? Everybody doesn't care about what's going on at Harry Polton's
Well,
barn.
I've been sitting here thinking you're doing it live.
Oh, well, we'll stream it, and we'll stream something in a minute.
All right.
So, we got Screaming Hawk. He's going out. Sunshine's Finest is racing this week. He's got this start, the last gold, and then the super final, maybe 2 golds. He's got 4 starts left, max, for the big colt this year. Stop. Okay, you can have a piece of gum. Go ahead. And then it's it for him for the year. A light schedule this year for this colt, because I think very, very highly of him heading into his 3-year-old year. Warwee Ultra, we talked about her in the onset. She looked good last night. Little bit of a tough trip at the hands of Brett, but she raced good. Got away in the 2-hole, exited the 2-hole at the half, before the half, and ended up a beaten second, but raced well at Hanover Raceway last night in Hanover, Ontario. And the last horse, newest addition to Harry Polton's barn, the horse coming from Indiana, Bay Jewel. She's not technically here yet. She's at Jason McGinnis's barn in Ohio, because we have to draw the blood work and get the health papers done. So I had them ship her from Indiana to Ohio, 3 hours away. From Jason's barn in Ohio, she'll head back to Ontario into Harry's barn. I'm thinking I might race her once or twice before the end of the year. Really disappointed with the outcome of Bay Jewel this year. And I told our clients I was buying up as many shares of her as I could, because Ollie, what in the hell are you doing? Because Bay Jewel is a talented filly. I think there's a ton of talent in there. Very, very happy with what I've seen from her, except for her racing. We schooled her in June faster than she's ever raced in Indiana, and that is a depressing statement in its own. Nobody could say there's anything wrong with her. She was making breaks, and just not what I thought would happen. The opposite of Swandre the Giant, I guess, when he went to Indiana. So I've been buying up shares of our clients, telling them, listen, I'm not giving up on this filly. I think she's going to come back, race once or twice in Ontario, and then we're going to shut her down. Now, if I get her back and she's a little underweight and looks a little tired, then obviously I'm not going to race her. But if we're able to, I'm going to put a couple of starts into her before we shut her down in the fall. So that's Harry's barn. Harry's had a good run. Obviously, he's done really well this summer with Maintenance Man. Lincoln James has been racing very, very well. Sunshine's Finest, and obviously that's where our trotters from Pennsylvania and Ohio were before they left. So we'll be back in a minute. We'll talk about Kevin's barn, and we'll talk about Jason's barn, and give you a quick wrap up and have you on your way. Be back in just a minute.